ANC Secretary-General Ace Magashule is due back in the Bloemfontein Magistrates Court on charges of corruption and fraud. He is charged alongside 7 others in relation to the Free State Asbestos project. The ANC's Thulasizwe Melane is on the ground outside the Bloemfontein High Court, and he joins me now. Colleague, earlier on he had spoken to Carl Niehaus about their stance in terms of supporting Ace, as well as being there to what they say is to defend him. What else can you tell us?
All right, Tumelo, I can tell you that in about 30 minutes, in terms of the revised timelines, we are told that, Tumelo, I have to take off this for a moment. There's terrible feedback. I'll put it back in just a moment. I'm battling to concentrate. In about 30 minutes, in terms of the revised timeline, the sitting of the High Court, the Free State Division of the High Court here in Bloemfontein is set to get underway. There will be 11 people who will be standing in the dock because the Hawks arrested 3 more people to add to the 8 that were originally there in the original indictment. And you also had a number of corporate entities who stand as accused. In total, there are 66 charges that are put against all of the accused. Of course, some charges are in relation to some of the accused and don't necessarily apply to the other accused. So they vary in terms of what each of the accused will have to answer to specifically. These are charges that in the main relate to alleged violations of PRECA, that is the Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act, as well as violations of the Public Finance Management Act in terms of the officials who are responsible for ensuring that public monies are administered in a proper way that is in line with the Constitution and other laws of the Republic. And that's where accused number 13, Ace Magashule, comes in, because he was the Premier of the Free State at the time. Accused number 12, Olim Lamleli, was the MEC of human settlements at the time of the alleged offences that have to do with this 255 million rand tender to replace asbestos roofing in homes that have that in the Free State. A lot of activity, Tumelo, around the court precinct here in Bloemfontein. You can hear there's a chopper that's been hovering above the skies here, a police chopper that has been hovering, police nyalas deployed in large numbers, barbed wire sprawled out in many areas. What we are not seeing, though, is activity in the street in front of the court, which is where we thought there would be this gathering by supporters of Ace Magashule. Carl Niehaus a short while ago telling us that they'll play it by ear, basically, where exactly they will set up the stage for the speeches to be delivered. But he tells us the leadership of MKMVA is here in full strength. The National Executive Committee of the MVA are here to show their support for Ace Magashule. Let me bring in an activist of the ANC who is here for a different message to me. His name is Sekhupi Malebo, who will give me his views about the activities here. Mr. Malebo, thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. So there's a lot of activity, as you can see, people coming here to say hashtag hands off Ace Magashule. Some of them are saying hashtag Ace is us. But you hold a different view. What is your view about what's at stake with this court matter? Keep your mask on because of the regulations and how things are, unfortunately, with this situation.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. As ANC members in the Free State, majority of us, first of all, we are opposed to gathering here to give support at this time when gatherings have been forbidden. And I'm very glad to see that majority of our branches in Bloemfontein have discouraged and defied the call for them to come and congregate here. The people that we are seeing working towards here are people from outside our province and from outside our region. We are glad that Magashule, Olim Lamleli are finally before the courts, because they have abused the money that was meant for the poorest of the poor to relieve them of the roofs of asbestos. It is our people that leak the information. It is my own comrade who informed Zondo Commission. Therefore, for us, this is an achievement that we are beginning to bring an end to corruption, fraud and malfeasance in our province.
Tell me about the state of your organization, the ANC. How worried are you about the state of the ANC right now? Because it seems to me that it's becoming clearer and clearer that you have what is called RET forces, and those are sort of defining themselves as RET. In fact, let's pause for a moment. I want to show visuals of the arrival of Ace Magashule.
Proceedings this morning.
You guys said we must have our day in court. I'm waiting for the court. They keep on postponing.
There are more charges expected to be brought on to yourself?
Whatever charges is fine. Whatever charges.
Have you spoken to the president of the ANC with regards to these charges and this perceived political persecution that is happening against leaders of the ANC?
Why should I speak to the president about the case?
Mr. Magashule, I understand that a member of the legal team in your office...
No, let me not respond.
Wait.
It's fine. Thank you.
Well, as you can see right now, just Mr. Magashule arriving before court, but we're just being not allowed to ask questions, and we're trying to know as to the mean and, of course, how he's feeling ahead of the court case this morning, saying that, you know, it's his time in court and he'll be responsible.
More charges expected to be brought up on yourself today?
Whatever happens, it's okay.
Mr. Magashule, NPA has warned that they could be adding more charges again. What do you feel about this?
Let the NPA do whatever they want to do. I'm ready for anything.
And you say that you've been politically more...
Let's go. No, let me not get into that. The ANC is dealing with that one.
That was the Secretary-General of the African...
All right, there you go. That's Secretary-General of the ANC, Ace Magashule, making his way into the Bloemfontein Magistrate Court. Now, just a quick recap as to what happened a couple of mere seconds ago. We saw also Miss Oli Mhlameli, who is, the former mayor in this province, and of course now a councillor, making her way. Now, we asked question as to how she's also feeling ahead of the court case as well, and she said that she, of course, is also going to see what happens before court, but they are of the view that they are being politically targeted. And furthermore, what they're saying is that they will see what happens in court. Now, we have also heard that the NPA has warned that more charges could be added to the sheet against them. This is in relation to corruption and fraud, and of course money laundering charges to the tune of about 255 million. And we're furthermore told that more expected to be in the dock today. So I'm just going to quickly just throw back to Lasizwe, who of course will be giving us, or rather sharing, as to what is transpiring on his side.
All right, Pule, thank you for that. Pule Littriti Jones reporting there from in front of the building, maybe written magistrate's court, but actually this is a high court matter, says the indictment. It's a high court matter, so we have to be absolutely clear about that. Let me finish my conversation with the ANC activist that I was talking to. I was asking you a last question, sir, about how worried are you about the impact of this matter and the mobilization that you are seeing around this matter, but as well as what you're seeing around issues around former President Jacob Zuma. It seems to me that we are now at a point where there's clearly a formation within the ANC that's called RET forces. Those at the front, of course, say it's not a formation. RET is a policy of the ANC. But I think it's becoming clear for everyone to see that there's a formation that's happening. What does that mean for your party?
Well, first of all, I want to make it very clear. As ANC members here, we are the ones that have been highlighting the question of corruption and fraud. We have been backing and promoting that this case be brought forward, empowered by our own conference resolution that says, as an ANC member, we must be in the forefront of exposing malfeasance, fraud, and where there is lack of service delivery. It's our duty and responsibility to do so. And this one is no different from us promoting action against service delivery. RET forces, those are disgruntled members. Those are ill-disciplined members who are a fight-back force for those who are responsible for bringing our country down in the last 9 years or so. It's very important to note that when these people started coming together, it is after the failure of their own other initiatives like ATM and so on. So they think that they'll be able to weaken us in our resolve to reuniting and reviving our ANC. We are not worried about them. We will defeat them tomorrow when we go to conference. Thank you.
Right, I've got to thank you for that. That's Sekgopi Malebu, who is an ANC activist here in the Free State, just for a different take on what is happening. Different in the sense that many of the people you are seeing here around the court precinct are here on a message that says they are here to support Ace Magashule. Pulele Treaty Jones, what do you have on your side?
What we're now seeing is the ANC national spokesperson, Pule Mabe, trying to make his way in. Now, we have been told, that there are quite strict measures in terms of those who will be making their way into the courts. Of course, now adhering into the protocol regulations. Pule, if you just throw a question and see. Pule, Mr. Mabe, thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Why are they trying to prevent you from going inside?
No, they are not preventing me from going inside. You would know that there are numbers that are stipulated which need to be in court. So we've got to make sure that we comply with all of that. So we've got to make sure that the numbers that are inside do not exceed what is required. I mean, we are expected to be doing that. I don't think that there is any prevention or anything of sort.
So we're going to be seeing the likes of Carl Nihau also making their way here today.
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm sure if they are here, they can speak for themselves.
Were you accredited to be here, Pule?
Well, I'm not sure where that is going to school, but we are here. We've been here even before. Unfortunately, there are numbers that have to be inside court, so you can't be beyond the number that is required.
Are you happy the supporters have made their way here despite the COVID-19 protocol?
Well, I'm not sure. I came here just on my own to do what I've done last time, just to understand the nature of the case, so that we are also able to go and report back to the organization as well.
Are you here in your individual capacity, or are you here on behalf of the ANC?
What is an individual, and I don't understand.
That's what the NEC said. People must come
but
in individual capacity.
I'm here the same way I was last time. So you can go and check. You can go and check the footage.
What is that way, Mr. Ma?
Well, the footage is there.
Are you supporting Mr. Magashule ahead of the court proceedings?
Of course, he's the Secretary-General of the ANC. I'm supporting him. That's what I'm
There we go. Once again, Pule Mabe, the national spokesperson of the ANC, saying he's supporting Ace Magashule. Now, we are aware that everyone who comes here is either coming within their own personal interest or by the party interest, but he's well aware that he's now supporting, or rather telling us and assuring us that he's supporting Secretary-General. But as we can see just here, a lot of force being pushed back for people trying to go in. Only a few members will be making their way into court. So it will be quite interesting to see how the proceedings unfold here. Tulas, and back to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting listening to that conversation, Pule, with Pule Mabe there, and him explaining that he wants to understand the nature of the court case so that he's able to report back to the organization, but of course saying that he supports Ace Magashule as the Secretary-General of the ANC. You'll know that the politics of it is rather tricky, is it not? Because of this resolution of the ANC from 2017, which spoke about, those members who are accused. Basically, the idea is for the ANC to put distance, quote unquote, between itself and people who are accused of wrongdoing and corruption, and basically that's the resolution they took in 2017. 2021, they're still struggling with the modalities of how exactly does that work. Just recently, the National Executive Committee of the ANC coming up with guidelines of how exactly that will be implemented. But until that is finalized, people such as Ace Magashule, against whom the Integrity Commission of the ANC has recommended that he should step aside, well, they're simply not going to do that at this particular point until that matter is finally finalized. In fact, some of his supporters saying that actually they will be challenging that particular decision of stepping aside. So that's how it's looking, Dumi, at 16 minutes past 8 as we build up to the start of the case, where the focus will be firmly on the legalities, the law, and whether or not it was kept and upheld or it was broken by these accused persons who will be inside court.
All right, then, Tulasiyo Simelane and Puleli Shwiti Jones is where we leave it for now, but we'll be sure to come back to you with more on this update.